Hey team, regular listeners of the pod will know I will never shy away from an opportunity to talk about discharge on the pod, and luckily our sponsor Skimpies is giving me an incredible opportunity to do just that. Anybody who's known me for a while will know I am fascinated by women who can just go commando without a care in the world. My bod is just not built like that, especially post-kids. But I do still want the freedom of no underwear lines, especially when I'm getting my squats on at the gym. Enter Skimpies, the original leggings liner. You just press the Skimpies into your leggings and you've got an organic cotton barrier right where you need it. And it stays put. It's crazy, even during a sweaty workout. With hundreds of thousands sold, it's a no-brainer. Go to skimpies.com to get started. Skimpies, we just want to be in your pants. Hey team, and welcome. I'm your host, Carrie, creator of Mother Life, your destination for all things real talk and parenting. This is the IRL group chat, where we talk about the wild balancing act of pursuing careers and passions while also doing our best to show up for our kids. Join me every week as I sit down with some badass parents in my closet and we talk about their careers, kids, and relationships and all of the weird shit that comes up when you're trying to balance the seemingly impossible. How we talk to other people's kids. It's not something we think about all that often, at least I don't think we do. We're too busy trying to think about how we talk to our own kids. And yet, how other adults in our lives spoke to us as kids often comes up in our personal retelling of our own personhood. While parents, siblings, and friends often play an outsized role in helping us shape who we become, the way adults perceive kids and talk to them, it leaves its mark. Just take a second to think about an adult who shared an observation or an insight about you that you either embraced or rejected. There's something very powerful about those words that in the moment we may not even realize. Teachers, aunts and uncles, our parents' friends, our friends' parents, they all had a role to play. And now it's wild to think that we are those people to our kids' peers, that we can unwittingly or otherwise set kids down paths toward exploring things they're curious about, help them stand a little taller after a rough day, or simply remember that they're more than just a kid, that their opinions matter and are of value. This week's episode had me thinking about this tangential but crazy valuable role adults can play in kids' lives just by paying attention to them and what they're into. That one thoughtful comment from an aunt to her niece at 9 years old set in motion a career and a passion that has blossomed over subsequent decades. And now that same niece is hosting her son's friends for dinners and hangs at her house, providing another safe space for kids to be heard by grown-ups who care about them. Today, we're hanging out with Irene Lovett of interior design firm Design Styles. She's a first-generation Valley girl, interior designer, and high-octane positive force of nature. We're going to follow Irene from a 997-square-foot house in Sylmar, where she grew up, the daughter of Mexican immigrants, a restaurant worker dad, and a housekeeper mom, to the San Fernando Valley's most enthusiastic evangelist for thoughtful design. Having her own home and designs appear on Netflix's Nobody Wants This, a true fangirl moment for Irene, a foster sister stan, and being featured in Better Homes and Gardens, HGTV, The Wall Street Journal, Good Housekeeping, and more. In this episode, we get into it all. The design trends people are actually asking for right now, the forever charged debate of being a dog parent versus a human parent, and the very intentional decision to be a family of 3, and how to still keep the big family feeling regardless. We also cover what it looks like to grow into your extroversion with husband and creator of LA in a Minute, Irene Lovett, by your side, how we could all benefit from making eye contact and smiling more on the neighborhood walks, and how maybe we all just need a pot of beans on the stove at all times. Enjoy. Irene.
Yes.
Welcome to the closet.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. I love it. I like it. You have a nice big closet.
When you walked into my home, you immediately went into interior design mode in your eyes. Like I could see it. You immediately were like, okay, I would put that there. And like you clearly love what you do, so I'm excited to talk to you about it today.
Sweet. Because thanks. Yeah. And I do think people get nervous. Like, Irene's coming to my house, she's going to judge me. And I don't. Like, with friends, I really don't. But it seemed like you were always also kind of open to, like,
dude.
no, you know what I do? I don't start, like, judging, but I think, like, oh, that's a great, like, pointing out things I like.
Yes.
Because I want to make people feel like they are, like their home should be a representation of them. So just kind of pointing out the things that stick out to me.
Yeah. You give me the immediate impression of like high octane positivity. Is that?
Yeah.
Are you ever a negative Nancy?
No, not really. I mean, sometimes I have like negative inner voice where I'm thinking like, you should be more successful, or like you should be more like this. You should be
Sure.
So just like zone that out. But when I meet with clients, like just
You
no,
don't
I
strike
don't.
me.
Or with friends. No.
But I bet like I bet you're also a good chat with the Trader Joe's checkout person.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so something I
Where they're
realized.
like, what are you up to this week? And you're like, well, let me tell you.
I noticed this as I got older because I wasn't like that when I was younger. I was definitely more shy. I wouldn't seek friends. Like if they came to me, I could make friends, but I wasn't the one reaching out. And then I think also being married to Evan, and he's such a people person where he's always talked to the cashier, just like, how's your day? Make like a little small chat. So I think that's rubbed off on me. And I work from home, I'm solo, and there's times when I don't really talk to other humans until like my husband comes home. So if I'm out running an errand, I'm like, oh, how long has this coffee shop been here? Like, where's your...
I'm totally the same. I always say, like, I am not built to work at home by myself.
You're right.
I'm just not meant for this life.
Yeah.
That is how it is. And I'm so glad that this gets to be part of my day.
Yeah, right. Otherwise you go crazy. Or like in the neighborhood, we have a lot of people walking the neighborhood, walking their dogs. And so I go on my evening walk every day.
It's like social hour.
And I notice sometimes people will be on the same side of the street crossing each other and at least smile, right? Like most of the people have like headphones on or they will cross the street. I'm like, you can't even just like give me a hello. Not everybody. And I think it's also depending on their age. Usually if they're a little older, I notice people will at least smile. But it's the younger kids.
Guys.
Like they're awkward. They're staring down.
That actually kills me. This neighborhood, I have to say, is extremely pure in the way everybody's up in each other's shit. Not in a mean way, but it's like if I'm walking the dog and I don't have my kids with me, like everyone will be like, oh my God, mom's night out. You're walking the dog by yourself. Like we all talk to each other.
Yeah, I love it. It feels
but
like...
there are a couple people with the headphones in and they like make themselves known.
Oh, correct. Like they just don't bother me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
but there are more friendly ones.
Oh, for sure. And the dogs help a lot.
Okay, so we're going to go on the trajectory of little Irene to today.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
We got this, girl.
Okay.
We can do it. There are a number of things that I was thinking about that I specifically wanted to talk to you about and get your hot take on.
Okay.
Like, for instance, I know that you're a huge lover of dogs and that also, like, having a dog played an important role in, like, your collective decision-making around having a kid and all of this stuff. So I want to talk about that because I know people will be like, either feel very strongly, dog owners, that, like, having a dog is like having a kid. And some people are like, that's a joke. Like, are you kidding me? It's so much harder to have a kid.
Oh, yes.
People feel strongly about that. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what you're seeing in the moment in the field in terms of trends I mean, I know you have your own POV as a designer, but like, what are the big things people are asking for or looking for in interior design? And we're going to talk about the decision to have one kid because I get that question from people a lot. How do you know when you're done? What was your decision making? And I know that you were very intentional about that.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that. But those are all grown-up things.
Right.
And we have to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
So you are a Valley girl?
Valley girl. Born and raised. Yeah, I grew up in Sylmar, which is the most northern part of the Valley. And now I'm in Cedar City, which is the most southern part of the Valley. So just like... straight line. Just go up 170 to the 5.
What is Sylmar known for?
Olives back in the day. And then it's a rarely working class community. My parents are immigrants. So
from Mexico, right?
Yeah, from Mexico. So I'm first generation. Grew up there and just very working class. But I had a really humble childhood. Like we played baseball in the streets. My neighbor across the street, I always remember she had a tree house in her backyard. So that was always really fun.
That's
It was really cool. We were also very wholesome. When I look back, we were friends with our neighbors. We would, kids on the street riding bikes.
Somebody has to teach my kid how to ride a bike, and it's not going to be me.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
So when you were growing up, what were your parents doing for work?
So growing up, my dad worked at a restaurant. It was casual, Mexican food, but Americanized Mexican food. And then my mom was a housekeeper. So she was a housekeeper up until middle school. So in middle school, my dad had the opportunity to buy the restaurant. So my dad was it was like him and another employee were co-owners. So my mom was a housekeeper throughout elementary school, and then once my dad bought that restaurant, my dad was like, I need help, you're gonna come in and help out. My mom's like, I have zero experience in this, you just have to figure it out and make it work. And so I think maybe I have memories of helping her out when I didn't have school, and I would go
at the restaurant.
Both.
When she was housekeeping.
Yes. So let's say, I don't know, I didn't have school and they didn't want to just leave me at home by myself because I was, a kid. Yeah. So I'd go with her, and that was maybe the first intro to design, really, because I grew up, it's a tiny house. It was 997 square feet. And I always remember my house just felt small. So I always just felt like everybody else had just a bigger house than I did. And so I would go to people's homes and I would envision, what I would do to someone's house. And so I remember going to work with her a couple of times. And there was a house in particular, she had wallpaper, and it was just very well decorated. And then I later found out that that woman was an interior decorator. And so I was like, that made so much sense, because not everyone's house was just I felt like there was things that could have been done. But at the time, I didn't even realize that this was a job, a profession. And I had an aunt, my mom's brother's wife. I have a memory of being 9 or 10. And she asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up. And I said, I don't know, a nurse or something. And she said, I think you should be an interior decorator. And I was like, what is that? Nobody in my family had designers.
That's crazy that she clocked that.
Right, because I asked her as I grew up, and I was like, what did you see in me that made you sort of point that out? And she said, I remember one time sitting in your room, because I always did, I always rearranged my room, and it's just this feels off. And I shared a room with my sister, and then at one point I got my own room, which was really exciting because I got to pick my own paint color and all that stuff. And so my aunt said that she remembers me kind of walking her through my vision of what I wanted to do. And she's like, the way you were talking about it made sense. So it clicked, which I'm glad she said, or that she saw that in me, because at the time when I thought I wanted to be a nurse, I remember going to one of the houses that my mom was cleaning, and the daughter was studying to be a nurse. And I remember looking through her textbook. My mom said, you want to be a nurse, this is what you're going to have to do. And I saw an image of a guy's thumb cut off. And I was like, no, okay, thanks. No, I honestly thought I just took people's temperature and just made them feel comfortable. Okay, that's not for me.
So you had a fallback.
So I was like, okay, what do I do? But yeah, so then I worked a little bit at the restaurant when I was in high school. I was the cashier, and then my dad was able to get the day off because he was always working. My dad always worked 9 to 9, 8 to 9. So I'd see my dad maybe, growing up, I'd see my dad maybe on weekends, because at the time, I remember the restaurant was closed on Sundays. So Sundays was family day, and that's when we would hang out and we would visit family.
Did it feel because you were growing up in this working class neighborhood, I imagine everybody's parents are grinding. Did it feel
a little bit?
Did you feel I never get to see my dad, or oh, this is normal?
A little bit. Yes, but also my mom. So my mom is the oldest of 7. She has 6 brothers, and she's the oldest in the Latina household. Like
Proper eldest daughter energy.
oh yes, absolutely. Like, she was their second mom, and there was so my mom grew up. It was a tiny. It was like a village, and then from the village they moved into this small rural town, and so there was times when my grandpa always came to work in the States, and so there was times when my grandma would come visit and stay for months at a time. So my mom would be left at home tending to her brothers. So they always, and she was like a teenager. And so when that transition came, when my uncles were then coming to the States, our house was the hub. Like, they'd come live with us, not all 6 at a time.
I was about to say, in the 997
not all at the same time.
Just checking.
And they were teenagers. My uncles were teenagers at the time. And so they'd come, kind of get their bearings, get married, or like just move out. But this was sort of, so I always had like a lot of, I was always surrounded by family. And then my dad is one of 9.
Oh my God.
And so they all, we were visiting family all the time. Like, my
and that
memories.
was fun for you.
Yeah, because it was like cousins. So I'm still close with my cousins. I have a book club with my cousins on my dad's side and then my mom's side. So then my parents, they grew up in the same town. My dad was already in the town that my mom came from this village, moved to this town. They lived right across the street from each other. So my grandparents, we'd go back to Mexico, and I was like, I have both my grandparents, and then my cousins would come
across the street. That's amazing.
So it was just always surrounded by family. So I also felt like I didn't really need to make friends because I had friends. Like, I obviously had friends, but I also had these, like,
we
built-in
talked about
friends.
this with somebody recently that, like, when you are really close with your family, this like burning imperative to have a massive friend group isn't there in the same way because you do have this like built-in ride or die network.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have this like amazing, massive family. Everybody's up in everybody's business in a nice way.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom, we were talking earlier about like when you're an interior designer or like an accountant or an expert in whatever your field is, you often serve yourself last.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So like your clients' houses will be looking perfect and like you'll have like the closet of shame or whatever.
Exactly.
Or you're filing everybody else's taxes, you don't do your own.
Right.
Similarly, I've always wondered as a housekeeper for your mom.
Oh, no, she's clean. She's so immaculate. You go into her house. Like, I always remember, yes, our house wasn't big, but you walked in, you're like, the first thing people would say was like, your house is so clean. And always, my mom's car is like.
And are you like that?
Yes.
I'm not a clean person,
extent.
quite famously.
Yes, to a degree. You go into my office, it's always a disaster, so I just close the door. But at night, I was just having this conversation with Evan last night, or Evan's my husband, which, anyway, for the people, the listeners.
So cute, Irene. Oh my God. Okay.
For the listeners who don't know, Evan is my husband. So I was going to bed last night. I'm so tired. And I'm like, from 6 to 10. So I make dinner. I make dinner usually Mondays through Thursday. So I make dinner. We eat dinner, which is always like 10 minutes of eating when I've been prepping for an hour.
So fucked up.
And then I clean. Like, I have to sweep my floors. And like that's like a non-negotiable.
Like, we're not vacuuming, we're sweeping?
We have wood floors, so I sweep. And then I do like the Swiffer,
Should I be sweeping? I use the vacuum on
the wood floors?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that might make it easier. And so I'll listen to an audiobook. So it's both therapeutic, but also
a compulsion. You're like, I have to do it.
Like, there's been times when we will come home from a night out. It's 11:30 at night. I'm like, my floors aren't clean. I gotta clean these. And then I also hand wash my dishes, and not to be like, I know that was my chore growing up. I have memories of like standing on a step stool and like washing dishes. And so to this day, I still hand wash I think it's so much faster. People think it's wasting more water. But then I also notice when people are loading the dishwasher, they let the water run.
Right.
And I'm like,
Defeats the
that's,
purpose.
yeah.
Well, you know what? There's this thing. I lived in the UK for a long time, and people there will like fill up the sink. They put the stopper in, and they
that
make
seems weird too.
soapy water.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
And then they do like they rinse everything.
I think they do that at restaurant, right? Isn't that
might.
what they do? But it just feels like
There's a restaurant
yeah,
expert in this table for sure.
Did not do dishes at the
The
right.
only time I worked at a restaurant was I was a hostess, so they
Right.
weren't letting me. In
Yeah,
the
no,
kitchen
right,
Unless I was trying to
exactly.
take somebody's leftovers, like when somebody sent something back.
Right.
The minute I saw a steak
want
get sent back, I would be like running to get to it before anybody
I don't
else.
want to like waste food. Yes, yes.
Especially like a steak.
Right. Yeah. So yes. So I am clean. Yes. I just always.
You have your things.
Yeah.
That you're
like I
like-
just like at night. I just want to like make sure everything looks like it's put back. It's everything's in order. So just in case I get a surprise guest, it's like people come in and like it's your house.
Okay, so mom is always
then-
with us in our
yes.
home in some way.
For sure. Right. Yes. Yes. And then Evan is clean too. Like he's tidy. He's clean and he's tidy. So that's also helpful. But yeah, I'll walk around saying like, why do we have this stuff? Why do we have so much stuff?
Oh, I do that
Put
a
your
lot.
stuff away.
I do that a lot.
Yeah. And then our son is not. He just like
Yeah.
leave stuff out. And can you put this away? Like
How
it
old
goes
is he now?
12.
12. Okay.
Like
yeah.
put this in the hamper. Don't put it on the hamper. Put it inside. My brother's also clean and tidy, and then my sister, she knows it. She can be clean if she knows someone's coming over to her house,
Yeah.
but innately she
strikes me as a firecracker. The little I know about her. In
oh,
the
she
sense
was
of-
always like yeah.
because
She's the middle child.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you think she would identify as that?
Absolutely. Yeah, she's always just like, stated her opinion, which is you should. But sometimes you're just
self-possessed.
Like, yes.
Now,
yeah.
you as a youngest, this does track with like your sort of front-facing optimism and positivity. I feel like that can often be a youngest child thing. I'm a youngest of 3 also.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And is your brother an oldest?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And
What is the stereotype? Like, I feel like we hear so much about the oldest, like the eldest daughter stereotype.
Oh, got
What's
it. The oldest,
boy?
but in the Latino too, that's like a prize. You
Right.
like there's a stereotype
Want a
that like
firstborn son.
Yes, for sure. Like why even have more kids? I had the yeah.
But like, what is it? Like, I'm trying to think if there's a difference in the stereotype because I feel like we talk mainly about the eldest daughter thing. And I don't know. My brother's the oldest.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a son that's the oldest. So I'm like,
Oh.
what's he gonna be like? I don't know. I
Right.
mainly feel like I gave him anxiety.
Oh, right. I know my brother was a piece. So my brother's the oldest. My sister and I were almost 5 years apart. And so growing up, she would just pick, like, I think she just enjoyed kind of triggering me.
Yeah,
And so we
rankling
would go
you,
at it a
pushing
lot.
buttons.
Absolutely.
But now you guys are close.
Yes, now we're cool for sure. And like she also has an only child. Her son, my nephew Max, is 18 months older than Felix, and so we were close, and then
And how far do they live from you?
they're kind of far. It's like 40 minutes. Not far, again miles wise, but LA you count in minutes, so 45 minutes over the hill. Yeah,
Oh,
like
over
in the West
forget
End.
it.
Yeah, for
Goodbye.
sure.
See you next year.
Right. But we're in the book club together. So
That's
it's always
cute.
at her house. So, and we do that like once a month. Although we haven't done it in a couple months. So
What
we
kind of
need
books
to.
are we reading in the book club?
It changes.
I read exclusively smut. For
Oh,
just
okay.
for
A
starters.
little bit of both.
And sci-fi.
Yeah,
That's not true. I read a lot of
memoirs,
sci-fi.
autobiographies, historical fiction. Just kind of depends. Well,
On who's
okay.
picking the book?
Yes. Okay. So we have a book club with the cousins. Not all of them read. It's more like let's get together and catch up. We have a separate thread called the Readers, which is 4 of us who actually do read the book.
Okay, sure.
So we'll pick amongst ourselves and then like share it with the rest. Like we know you're not going to read, but just in case.
Just in case this one tickles your fancy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very cute. Okay, so growing up, your mom kind of has these 2 chapters. Everybody's grinding and working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Working in a restaurant, Americanized
Yes.
Mexican.
Totally. Yeah.
You said that you are the chef of your house. You're the one that's doing a lot of the cooking.
I do it now. Yes. So so that was, I didn't cook, even though I was at a restaurant. I still hear this from my friend, like, oh, you don't cook, like you grew up like you were in a restaurant. I was like, I had no interest in the kitchen. I was in the front. I did the register. So then when I got married, one of the first things my dad said to Evan when he asked for my hand in marriage, he said, she doesn't cook, right? Like, you're going to be eating like sandwiches. And Evan was like, okay. And
he's like, okay, so can I marry her? Yes or no?
I know. Yeah, exactly.
I have something called Uber Eats, or that wasn't around then, but like,
right. It was, yeah,
we
exactly.
can go to a restaurant.
We can figure it out. And so I still remember my first meal, because being in the restaurant, I remember there was like just watching my parents, and they didn't always want to eat their like the food because they were like sick of it. So they would make outside stuff or other stuff. So I made pork chops and, they call it like frijoles de la olla in Spanish, but it's just like a pot of beans. It's the easiest thing, and it's so healthy.
Blended or not blended?
Not blended, just boiled. And it's so, you boil them, right? Yeah. I think that, just in a pot, boil some water, add the beans, and you just put on a low simmer.
No spices?
You can add onion, salt, pepper, and then you just put on a simmer for like 45 minutes until they're tender, and you just eat it. And they're delicious, and they're so healthy, and my son likes them too. Felix and Evan both really like you should make more beans. Like, my mom always had I've always had a pot of beans. We always had a pot, and if we always said, "Oh, we're hungry," like
she'd be like, "Go to the pot."
Yeah, there's a pot of beans on the stove.
Do we think that cultures where people are eating a lot of beans are less gassy? Because
interesting. I don't know. I've never thought about that. Yeah,
because I feel like so many, if I like mention beans to anybody, they're like, "Oh, watch out."
Yeah,
but like, that's obviously not a discussion in cultures where you're eating a lot of beans. Is everybody just farting all the time, or is nobody farting?
Right, good question. I don't know. I don't have memories of like all just sitting at the table like smelling like, hey guys, time to open some windows.
This might be the great question of our time.
Yeah, and that was a thing in elementary school. Like,
beans are good for your heart.
The more you eat them,
the more you fart.
For sure, that was the thing. But I don't know how accurate.
You know what? I'm going to ask
I'm going to make some tonight, and then I'm going to
ask my gastro doctor about that. I'm going to be like, culturally,
they're so healthy. Yeah, and
they're so healthy. They're so good for you.
We had Felix's, I guess you could call her. We just call her Martha. She was from Honduras, and she would always make lentils. She would make this lentil soup a lot. So good. And now she watches my neighbor's kids because we don't really need her anymore. But we still, obviously, now we can still see her because she's next door.
Does he need it? He doesn't even need a babysitter.
No, we could leave him home alone sometimes. If we're staying close, we still have Martha come watch Felix. If we're going to go over the hill, we're going to be home late. Like at midnight, I still feel like he needs somebody to.
Wow. And you have 5,000 dogs.
Right.
3 dogs.
3 dogs. But people ask, like if I'm walking the dogs, one of them can't walk so much anymore, but when I was able to walk all 3 of them, people were like, wow, 3 dogs. But like, I never stop someone with 3 kids and say, wow, 3 kids. Like,
I do.
Oh, they would say like, are you a dog walker? They'd ask me if I was a dog walker. I'm like, they're little.
All of my babies. Yeah. For what it's worth, if I'm not saying it out loud, I'm definitely thinking when I see parents of 3 children out in the world, like, go with God. God,
you are a superhero.
You are the superhero. You're superhuman. I don't know how you I find it so endlessly impressive and like this logistical feat. And I mean,
for sure.
And then after 3, like my mind is just completely gone. Like I just can't even.
You're just like, do you like sleep at all?
Now remind me, you and Evan, and I'm gonna link Evan's episode in the show notes, guys, because then you can sort of cross-reference these stories. I like having, initially when I started the pod, I was like, I'm only gonna have one member of a marriage ever on the pod. And then I realized that just because there's one marriage, it doesn't mean, well, it also just, everyone has their complete individual experience of parenthood, career, and being in the same marriage.
Right.
So I'm actually kind of missing a trick if I don't get 2 sides. Or like sometimes I think it can be really informative. So for you guys met when you were how old?
Oh my gosh.
You were a baby.
It was on my 21st birthday. So, okay, technically we met a month before, but I was 21. Here I am thinking, I'm going to start dating. Like, I'm 21. I'm in my prime.
She's in her prime, baby.
And then he was like, what? This girl's in her prime?
Got her, rope her in now.
Yeah, exactly. And then once we started dating, we realized like our paths had crossed several times. And so there's just something really comforting about just
The shared history of it.
Yes,
I
there's
think
something
so.
about, I'm like, you're kind of my person.
Oh my God,
Shoot.
that's so cute. Gross.
But no.
Wait. But when you, so I know just from friends who are also first generation Americans with Mexican parents that there's like a lot of, or there can be a lot of like expectations or shared understanding about like what it means to be a woman dating in the world.
Oh, right.
And like, when did you start thinking about dating, and like, what were your parents' ideas about that? And also, when was it socially acceptable for you to stop living at home?
Oh my gosh, the living at home. I mean,
That's a big thing, right?
Oh, for sure. Why would you want to leave? You have everything here. I was like, I need independence. I was like, that's why our relationship would be better if I wasn't at home. And so dating, I had a boyfriend early in high school, but I didn't tell them. Of course, they're like, why are you going to date? Because initially, again, it's like, you're going to get pregnant. That was like a fear. But I mean, and there was no sex talk. It was like, there was no way. And then, that didn't end well. And then I was just like hanging, nothing serious for sure. So that was, like my senior year in high school through, 21 when I met Evan, just like hanging out with guys here and there, but nothing serious. And I have a memory of like one guy came to pick me up. I was like, you have to go in and say hi to my dad. Like, he needs to know that you're taking me out.
And how'd that go?
It was good. Like, it was fine.
What are your intentions with my daughter?
Yeah, no, he didn't say, he didn't ask him the question, but I think he looked like respectable enough that he was like, okay, I trust you to, take my daughter. But we just never really talked about it. And then with Evan, he just liked him right off the bat because Evan is a talker. My dad is a talker. There's a lot of similarities there.
He also just has like a big smile, and he's like a happy, nice guy. He's not like, hey, I'm gonna like.
Oh, for sure. So I think he just was trusting. And when I started dating Evan, so my parents were strict too. Like, my mom was a little more lenient, but my dad was like, no, you got to be home. I mean, midnight would be late. It was like 11:30 maybe. And so I tried to push it. I was like, but I'm going out with Evan. And so I think he trusted. So I was like, okay, like midnight is okay. And I remember, I think we'd only been dating for about 5 months, and Evan asked me to move in with him. I'm like, are you crazy? My parents would never let me. They don't even like me knowing that I'm here at your place solo.
Yeah.
Like, just
no chaperone.
No.
There's nobody watching us.
Yeah, exactly. So like my parents, for example, my dad back in this, town in Mexico they grew up, my dad would cross the street, hang out with my mom on her porch with my grandma present.
Of course.
That's how you did it.
Jews did that too.
Oh,
back in the day.
Okay.
I mean, I guess they still do, actually. I think they still do in like Orthodox communities, but I did not grow up like that.
Right.
My parents would have loved for me to have a boyfriend. Or honestly, a girlfriend. At some point, they were just like, what's wrong with you? You're like not bringing anybody
home. Can you move out of the house now? Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you guys met when you were 21, and then you got married 23? No.
Yeah, I got married. Yeah, we'd been dating for maybe like 9 months or so. And then I studied abroad in Spain I was there for 3 months. And it was very cool of Evan, now that I think about it, because he didn't hold me back. He said, this is an experience for you. Obviously, I love you. I want you, like, don't go falling in love with some European guy and like, don't ever want to come back. I'll be here, sort of like, you do you, but know that I want to still be with you when you get back. And like, he was, he
very
was there.
noble.
He dropped me off at the airport with my brother. And then he would send me Us Weekly every week. He was sending me packages. I know. My friends loved it.
Yeah.
Here's your package. Yeah, when I got there to the study abroad school, there was a package waiting for me. Like, he was just like suave like that. I'm like, how do I not marry this guy?
And then, like, what?
Yeah, his last name is Lovett.
I mean, it's
like,
true. His last name is literally Lovett. Okay, so you have this time apart. You get married at 23.
Oh my gosh, right.
You become dog parents.
Yes, we become dog parents. Oh gosh. A few years after. Wait. Oh, maybe like 3 years into the, yeah, because we've been married for 20 years now.
That's
and our
fucking
dog
crazy.
is 17. Okay. Yeah. So yes, we become dog parents. He grew up with dogs. I had a dog, but it wasn't like really part of the family. It was like an outside. It was very like that's kind of what you did in like a Latino household. Like you don't treat it's a pet. You don't treat your dogs like children. So, well, Evan grew up with dogs. So we'd been talking about owning a dog. And then we got Nora a couple years later. I mean, she's had the good life from the get-go. She's just...
That's the crazy one.
That's the crazy one. Yes,
She didn't know hardship.
Yes, I always joke that like on her tombstone, it's going to say like, Nora, everyone's least favorite dog. Is that people are like, nobody likes her and she doesn't like anyone other. She doesn't even like Felix. She likes my husband and I.
That's funny.
That's about.
So what were your thoughts on having kids for you?
Oh, I knew for sure. I was, that's kind of what you have kids, right?
Yeah. That's just like a step in the chain.
For sure. And coming from a big family, it's like, yeah, everyone, my uncles, cousins, they're like one of 3. That's sort of the average. And then, yeah, for sure I knew I wanted to have kids. When I found out Evan's an only child, I thought, that's weird. Why would your parents do that to you? Like, what do you mean you're an only child? There's all these like stereotypes that come with that. And so, yes, we got married, but we got married young, but I knew I didn't want to have kids. I didn't just want to like step into like motherhood right away. So we waited about 7 years. And then I was like, I'm going to turn 30 or... I had him at 31. And then I remember, for a while I thought maybe we don't have kids. Maybe it's kind of nice not, having to worry about this other human being and be responsible for their trauma.
7 years of no kid.
7 years. So it was fun. I mean, we were young. We were in our 20s. I was going out with friends. Like I'd be like clubbing and stuff, which I mean, sometimes
as a wife?
Exactly. My mom was like, Evan lets you? Like, what do you mean? Yeah, exactly. He's fine. He's like, please go. Yeah. Which was kind of fun too, because if guys would hit on me, I'm like, I have a husband. I have proof. I have proof.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, it's not because girls will say like, I'm a boyfriend, like whatever. Yeah. But I was like, no, I'm like married. Like, you're married? What are you doing out here?
Kind of hotter. People are like,
yeah. Actually, yeah. But and then we'd got together, we travel and stuff, and then as we got older, like I think we're now ready to do this, and so yeah, I was 30. I was like, okay, that was the time, and it was easy, like first try, like boom.
Now the funny thing is you said you're like, Evan, only child, weird. And then Evan told me, I have audio proof on the pod that you were the one who was like only one kid, and he was a little bit more open to the idea of having more than one kid. So so at some point a flip flop happened.
For sure.
What changed?
So yes. Oh, you have a child, and then you're like, wow, nobody told me about this. This is what? It completely changes your perspective on everything. You're just like, this is a lot harder than you're like, you read the books and you're just like kind of learning on the fly. And then in the beginning too, it causes some tension even with your spouse because you're like, you're doing it wrong. No, you're doing it wrong. Like what?
You said there was some period where you guys were like fighting. Oh wait, no, that was or before you had kids where you guys were like.
Oh, that too. Yeah. It's been
But I actually really appreciate that because I don't think it's helpful, or at least for me, because like my husband and I argue about stuff all of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is not helpful for me to hear that you and your husband don't argue. Because that makes me feel lonely. And while I obviously don't like wish everybody to have arguments,
you kind of need
whatever,
yeah,
it does make me feel better.
Right. So we'll go through periods where like we're not fighting, and I was like, is something wrong? Like, when's the other shoe gonna drop? You're like, come on, we need a little attention.
That's the Latina in you. Did your parents fight when you were growing up?
No, they didn't. And my dad was never home.
He was never home. That makes it easy.
Exactly. They've been married. They just celebrated 50 years. Yeah, and they still like each other.
I was gonna say, are they lovey-dovey? Are they affectionate?
Yeah, my mom's not as affectionate. I'm more like my mom in that regard. We're just like, just like leave me alone, I guess. But no, she likes it. She acts like she doesn't like it, but she likes it.
It's part of their shtick.
For sure, yeah.
So when it came to having kids, you're like, wait, nobody told me about this. This is harder than it looks. I read the books and like this is still not super straightforward.
Right. Oh, okay. So then the plan was, okay, once Felix turns 2, that's a good age gap. I'll get pregnant. We'll have the second. And then I was a bridesmaid in a wedding. And I was like, I don't want to do this bridesmaid stuff like pregnant. Like, we'll try after the wedding.
Right.
So I was like, after the wedding. And then as the wedding came and went, I was like, this is really nice to not have, like, I don't want to mess this up. We have a good system and I know myself and I could be as positive as I am. I just get easily like frustrated about stuff. I was like, I don't want to be like that yelly mom who's always just like frustrated with her kids. And it was just a really nice balance. Like I can hang out with friends and I can leave Felix at home with Evan and not feel guilty about like, oh my gosh, like Evan's just like managing all this stuff on him by himself. Or like if it was with 2 kids, he'd be like, calling the help. I need backup. Or if we went out of town, we can leave him with my sister. And now like my nephew has somebody to, it was just easier with, it's just easier with the one.
I definitely think this next generation coming up, there are big questions about like, do they want to have kids? What does it mean to have kids in this like uncertain world and uncertain times?
Right.
And they really are questioning the paradigm. Whereas you and I, when we grew up, it's like, well, yeah, you have kids. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. And I think they're not taking that for granted. Like they're not just taking that as the base assumption anymore.
Correct. And now I have like after we had Felix, immediately family's like, when's the next one? When's the next one? And Felix
Did
was
that
like
ever bother
6.
you when they asked?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why? Or no, when we first got married, when are the kids coming? When are the kids? Are you guys having kids? I'm like, no,
you're like, I'm a child bride.
What? Yeah. Why are you bothering me? And like, let's say, what if I was trying and I couldn't? And so this is awkward. But no, I'm living my life. And I have cousins now, they don't want to have kids. And like, good for you. Yeah. Great. Like times are changing. And now, women have other, that's okay.
And you can just leave it. You just don't have to say anything else about it.
Yeah.
Now, for you, on the backdrop of all of this, you are forging your professional path, or in the forefront, whichever way you want to look at it.
Yeah.
You have Felix. You're like, wow, shock. Like, turns out having a baby is really hard. Where are you in your career when he's born?
When he's born, I was sort of just starting out. I feel like I was just kind of starting out because I remember being pregnant. And I was very new, and I had clients who were also pregnant at the same time. So it was very like early phase of my profession. Yeah.
And how have you sort of seen the field evolve over the last, 12 years? Because I feel like we've kind of gone through different stages, in part with the advent of social media being a thing. It's kind of like homogenized what people's homes look like for a while, and then that's sort of changing now to everyone celebrating their difference. I feel like lots of things have changed over the time that you've been working.
Oh, for sure. And I remember when I was in school, so I did go to school for design, and it just felt like the industry was a little like snooty and standoffish. Like I'd go to the design center, it felt at the time that maybe people weren't as helpful or like sharing their sources, or so in the beginning it felt a little like I was just kind of going at it, just learning on my own, really.
Lonely, yeah.
Yeah. And then so I worked for a couple other designers. I did a few internships, and then I was assistant designer for a couple other designers. And then what happened? I remember I started a blog. This was big in the blogging area, like pre-Instagram. And so I would just find out a lot about the design industry through blogs. And I was, looking at these other women from across the globe, or the US.
Because it was primarily women.
It was. And they're like, I started a business. I did this. I was like, I could do that. And so I did. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I just kind of learned on I was just like, I remember like meeting at people's homes, and I was like, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just, I know enough where I sound professional, but I just like they ask questions like, I will get back to you on that. And so it was like a full circle moment where the aunt who had let me know about interior design.
At age 9?
Yes. She was my first client. She said she wanted to do a bedroom makeover. And so I helped her with that. And then I had my sister's photographer friend was in photography school, and he needed, for one of his projects, needed to photograph an interior space. So I was like, great, I need photos and you need this work for your portfolio or your project. Let's collab. And then one of his friends or something like posted it on Facebook or something. And so this woman saw it. She saw my work and she inquired about my services. And then, I think I had like some sort of wonky website or something. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a real person. This isn't just like a friend or family member. And that just kind of started it all. It was like I started very small. It was new pillows, restyling her bookshelves, and then she was going through a big like renovation project. And then she's like, can you help me with this? And it's like, yeah, absolutely.
It was off to the races.
It was off to the races. And then after that, and then I was like submitting my work at the time. I was like sharing it with because it was so like, the blogosphere was huge. And so I was sharing it with like Style Me Pretty or like apartment therapy.
Yeah, apartment therapy. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, we had our house featured on apartment therapy. And I think that's how I got another client. She saw my work.
Was your house on Nobody Wants This?
Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
Okay, so they do a lot of film. You probably notice in Studio City, they do a lot of filming. And so anytime they do filming and they're going to use or the streets that you're on are going to be affected by the production, they'll leave a note on your door. And so they just happen to be walking around the neighborhood in Evan, being the like yenta that he is, just like, I'm curious. My wife's a designer. We just did some work on our house. Is there somebody I can contact to put us, like, how do we get in
considered for location?
Exactly. So they said, contact this person, send us photos if we're interested. We'll get our photographer to come out and take photos and then put you in the system. And so we did. And almost right off the bat, we got a couple of commercials. Like we did like Walmart and like Aldi and various commercials. And then for Nobody Wants, I honestly didn't know it was for nobody. I didn't know it was for a show. And so there's always, anytime they're going to do filming, there's a scouting agent that comes to the house and they want to just scope it out, right? See if it's right for what they're looking for. And so I talked to the woman. I was like, oh, well, like what commercial is this for? She's like, no, it's for a show. At the time it was called Shiksa. So Erin Foster, I'd actually been a big follower of her podcast, her and her sister's podcast for years. So I'd heard them talking about this show for years. So when she said, oh, somebody like Erin Foster, Shiksa, and I was like, you're joking. Are you serious?
Did they completely change like furniture and stuff, or did they keep?
So all the furniture is ours. They changed the artwork, and so the first time they did it, so it was season 1 and season 2. The first time they did it, so we're out of the house. They come do a prep day, the shoot day, and then a wrap day, and then on one of the first night, my son forgot some of his stuff. I think he forgot a blanket or something. So like, I need to get back in the house. So I kind of like looked around, and so all the accessories, it's like a Jewish family. So there's, Jewish cookbooks and Jewish art. And
was it really surreal to be in your own home and have it like sort of look like somebody else lived there?
Yeah, totally. Because I was like, oh, and it's interesting with the styling because they want to make it also look not too staged. It's it's actually a little messier than my house.
Yeah.
But, somebody's like, it's true. It's supposed to represent like,
normal
like
people.
real life. Exactly. So I was like, really, that's cool. And so for the first season, they they used our interior, but a different house's exterior.
Yeah.
And then for the second season, they really did use our exterior. So people in the neighborhood were like, oh my, so many people watch the show.
Turns out it's incredibly popular.
Yeah. And so I'm like, wow, this is pretty neat to be part of something so big.
Yeah.
It's really
great,
cool.
especially
really
given what you do.
Absolutely, yes.
Even though it's not exactly your interior, still.
Correct. But yeah, all of our furniture and stuff is, the same.
So, okay. So you are building slowly. Now, with Felix growing up, he's 12. That's a really formative age, obviously, in terms of feelings. Evan had mentioned that, like, he's found a lot of comfort, that Felix has found a lot of comfort in like the skating community, and it took him time to sort of find his people. Do you have an experience skating? Like, I feel like there's this thing, right, where like your kid gets into something that you're not into necessarily or have experience with. Yeah. And you got to get up to speed.
Yeah,
fast.
For sure. And I've always been such like a big scaredy cat. So I was like, I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to get injured. But now, yes, he tried it. I was like, okay, my goal is just to not fall off the board. I'm going to give this a try. So we would always, there's a little church down the street of which is really cute because he actually started music when he was little. There was a, I think it was called like Ladybug Music. And that's where my nephew and him would go to music school. And so then now, again, full circle, that's where he started skating. They would go to the church parking lot. So we called his little skating crew because those other boys. No, we called it Sunday school because it was like, cute. I was like, oh, we're going to Sunday school. Even, it's just like
you're not going
Sunday school. Yeah, exactly. Sunday school skating. And so I was like, let me just give it a try. So I did. I put on like my helmet and my like knee pads.
I'd be like full bubble wrap.
Yeah, like actually probably should put shoulder pads, all of it. And so I very slowly, we've skated in the neighborhood. I go at a very slow pace. I don't want to go too fast. Just kind of cruise in the neighborhood.
That's very cool of you. I think I would watch.
Yeah.
But so, and then in terms of navigating, you mentioned before he was born, you're like, I read all the books and then he got here and I was like, this is really hard. I don't know how to do this. I have found in my 5.5 short years in the game that every year is different. And oh my gosh, he's confronting, like both of them like are just like confronting different stuff all of the time. Who are you like looking to for advice, if anybody? Are there books you're reading? Are there resources? Because I find that age in this time with phones and games and digital life especially really intimidating. How are you navigating all that, and who do you get advice from?
He's a pretty good kid. Like we just always hang out together. He has his own room on one side of the house, but he's always in our presence. He's either, if he is playing video games, it's in our presence. We're Evan and him do Wordle. So he's a good kid. And I'll ask friends, my sister too, because her son is, he's 13 now. So yeah, we kind of like
compare notes.
Exactly. And we're not too, it just always kind of like keeping, we're on top of it in the sense that we're just like always asking him questions and making sure that he feels comfortable to let us know.
He answers your questions?
And he does. In the morning, not so much. Like, so I do drop-offs. So in the morning, he wants to listen to his music, and I'll just ask like, oh, yeah, I don't know, what do you want to do later today? Or like, what friends do you hang out with? It's like, why are you asking me questions? It's like, I just want to get to know you, kid.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what you're into.
And then recently, because I mentioned that I go on like my neighborhood walks every evening, and I've had him come with me, and so that's nice. Like, nice. It is nice. It's just kind of shoot the shit, if you will.
Yeah. No, for sure. Have you guys had a sex talk with him? Or like not like the P goes in the V or whatever.
Yeah,
but like do you talk about body stuff?
So I try, and I can tell he gets so uncomfortable. And my sister actually let me borrow this book, like body parts. So I like, here's this book. I don't want to look at that. I don't want to see it. So like, I'm just going to leave it in your bathroom. If you're curious, just look through it. And he did talk about, like, when did you go through puberty? And just like, don't be awkward about it. Because I was like, I just felt like I couldn't have those conversations with my mom.
Yes.
And so now with Felix, don't be awkward about it and just be honest and open. And he did ask, not that long ago, he's like, why didn't you and Papa like make more kids? I'm like, oh, okay. Like, oh, okay. So you do know how, like, what happens a little bit. Yeah.
My son, I mean, we make sure we use anatomically correct terms when we talk about body parts.
Right.
Now.
Right.
But like, he'll like, forget what it was the other day. He was looking through something and my daughter was like, what is that? And my son goes, it's a tampon.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yes, right. You know what a tampon is. And the only thing he knows about periods is that he should ask me if I need anything if I tell him I'm on my period.
Nice. Yeah, so he's going to be a great husband. Yeah.
That's the one thing I've done. I'm like, he leaves his shit everywhere. He's not bringing his dish up from the table yet, but like he will at least ask me if I need anything.
If you need anything, actually,
baby steps.
I should tell Felix, like, you got to treat a lady right. You got to ask.
You got to make her some tea.
Yeah,
or something.
Exactly. Massage shoulders or something.
Feet, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so there's 2 questions I want to ask. One is hot debate. Does having a kid prepare you, or having a dog prepare you for a kid? What do you think? What's your hot take?
Yes and no. I remember, responsibility. I mean, you can't just leave him home alone. That's for sure.
Turns out.
Yeah, darn. But I remember when we got our first dog, he was already like a year old or so. And then we got our second dog. She was a little puppy. And so she would sleep on the bed with us. And she was too small to jump off the bed. So she was waking us up in the middle of the night a couple of times throughout the night, just like barking, like she wanted to get down to go outside to pee. And I was like, is this what it's like to have a kid? Like, you're waking up in the middle of the night. Because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Like, I like my sleep.
Yeah.
So yes. Yeah, I think that.
Do you think it told you, or did you learn anything about what Evan might be like as a dad through the process of having a dog together?
Yeah, because he's always just like on top of it. He's just like, Bam's eyes, it's swollen. Like, we gotta call the vet. He's always just on top of it. Like, he would make them food for a while. He was the one making the dogs food.
Evan,
right?
You can also make humans food.
Yeah, exactly. Let's.
Okay, so you got some insight, because I personally don't take offense when people say things like my dog baby or my whatever.
Oh, right, for sure.
I don't.
Yeah.
That really gets some people's hackles up.
Oh,
it does not for me.
Yeah. Like, your dog doesn't talk back. Like, they love you on condition, but your kid can be a total asshole.
Yeah. I mean, it is definitely harder in a lot of respects. And also, my dog will forever be a 2-year-old.
Oh, for sure. Right. They'll go through the teenage years. They're like puppies. And I have 3 senior dogs. They're all elderly.
Basically running a retirement home.
I was like hospice care.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a lot. Yes.
Okay, so that was one of the hot takes. So we're aligned. It's okay if you want to say that having your dog is like having a child. I don't really care. Some people, whatever, comment in the comments if you are really angry about that. The other thing I wanted to ask you was about this moment in interior design. What are like the things of the moment? I know everyone was very upset about the Pantone color of the year being cloud or whatever the fuck it was.
Oh, right. I think so. Was it what?
It's basically white.
Okay. Yeah. Trend. I mean, I'm still seeing people do a lot of lime wash and just overly dramatic stone and marble, which is nice. But then, we go through these trends and these phases where like everything kind of looks like
samey.
The same. And
you're like a color girl. You're not shy of a pattern, right?
Correct. Yeah, I am. And not all clients are. So it's like, oh, come on, guys. Like, but most of the clients that I have aren't really following the trends. So like following the trends and knowing what's hot, but not necessarily putting in people's homes, because their homes should still be really representative of them. So I definitely don't push trends. Yeah. Like, this is what I'm seeing. So you just kind of, you design based on, your eye and then what the client wants and try to make it feel unique and pulled together.
Now, you looked at my house today. You saw it briefly. I have like furniture from Bomb's Discount Furniture that moved with us from New York. Our couch was $700. And, like a chair from IKEA and whatever. For somebody like me, I know that you like repurpose with your clients stuff that they have. Is there something you would be like, Carrie, like if you just want to feel a little bit like you have control of the situation, is there like a quick little thing I can do that's gonna like just make me feel like my house looks a little bit more on purpose, or a room looks like a little bit more. Nothing's on purpose right now.
I think, but even walking into the house, well, you have a great house to start with, and so just like entering and seeing a non-open floor plan, I love it because it's like you walk in, there's the entry, there's the living room, you have the dining room to the left.
You mean the art room? There's a dining table in there, but it's been completely usurped by kid shit.
But I like how you have these defined spaces. And so baskets are great. Just like people will just like put all the stuff in the baskets, and they could be decorative baskets, so they look nice and pretty. And then trays for your coffee table are great. I think sometimes it's just like a lot of editing, just like putting the stuff away that makes it feel cluttered. Drawers, cabinets are great. And then I also just kind of come from like a styling point of view, or just I want stuff to just look like it's intentional in the way you laid it out.
Yes.
So a lot of times, like, you don't need to have fancy furniture, but you have cool enough taste that the furniture that you do have, it doesn't need to be expensive, but there's a design to it. Like, you're not having like lazy boys. Like,
no, yes. Yeah. Thank you for that. There's just for the record, there's no lazy boy in my home.
Yeah. And so just kind of eliminating some of the like visual noise as much as you can. Yeah. But you can still have some of those tchotchkes that have personality. Like, it is cool to display some of your kids' artwork, or even a cool Lego that they build.
I think we need to figure out a way to display the rocks, because now, they keep taking them out of the thing that they're in, and like, and I'm like, we don't throw rocks in the house. Quite literally.
Right. Yeah.
He who lives in a glass house does not cast stones. Guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, I'm like, I literally just have a plate of rocks, which feels stupid.
Oh, but if you have a pretty bowl or pretty plate, because that was my son and Evan too collected seashells. I was like, our house isn't coastal. Like, why would I display all these like seashells? But I'm like, why not? Actually, who cares? You don't have to.
I saw you have one seashell with rings in it. What are you doing with the rest of them?
Oh, yes. I put them in a nice vase. Okay. And so sometimes I'll put that out on the dining table, because I was like, these are all been found by my husband and my son. And then sometimes I'm like, I don't want to see the seashells, so I'll put them away in a cabinet.
Okay. Fair. This has been such a wide and sprawling conversation. What I got from this is, I love how close your huge family is. I think that's like a dream. Mm-hmm. And also the value of the cousin relationship, just because I know that people can feel really tortured if they're deciding whether or not to have more kids. Like, I know that is a thing. Mm-hmm. And for some people, that's a harder decision to make.
I think, sorry to interrupt, but I think deciding not to have the second was harder than just having kids in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a harder decision.
And I can totally imagine that. And at the same time, you and your family have figured out how to still keep this sense of bigness with your cousins and whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, I think my takeaway on that point specifically, because I do get messages about that, like, I'm deciding whether or not to have kids, is you can make family feel and be what you want it to be.
For
and
sure.
You guys have kind of done that and continued a tradition of this big family feel without having your home have 7 kids in it or whatever.
And then with Felix, like in our neighborhood, we have a lot of, I love it because we have that sort of small town community feel within this bigger burgeoning city. And so a lot of the neighborhood kids will come just show up in my house. It's like, can I stay for dinner? And I love it because
I have a pot of beans.
Yeah. I hope you like beans because, and I love it because, and so the other day, Felix had 2 friends over, and one was like, can I get more lemonade? Can I get butter? Can I get bread? I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a lot, but also I don't have to do this every day. Like, I get that calm dinner time when it's just the 3 of us, but when we have a bigger family, I enjoy it because I don't always get it.
Have it all the
And I feel like I'm more tolerant of inviting those friends over because I don't have to deal with it all the time.
Yeah, more
I'd probably, yes, I think I told Felix the other day, I was like, I'm more inclined to have your friends over because I don't have more kids. But if I had 3, I'd be like, go to someone else's house.
I got too many already.
Yeah.
So I love that piece, that there is like a way of just making your own feels based on, and I appreciate how much you were aware of like what felt good on your skin and what felt good to you for your happiness, because sometimes I think we bet on a future happiness, or we think about what it might be like in the future.
I know.
And if we like focus on what makes us happy now, maybe that actually will pay off more. So I really like that. I also love that this one comment that was made to you by an aunt when you were 9,
oh my gosh,
ended up like really meaning something to you.
Right.
And the comment that she made was really because she was seeing you as a kid and seeing you as a person.
Right. Yeah.
And she wasn't trying to put you in a box. She found like there was this thing over here that sort of already fit, and she introduced it to you.
Right.
And I think it's really cool that we are now the grown-ups that get to do that for other kids. Like, it's not just about seeing our own kids, but seeing the other kids in our lives and being like, oh, this is a person in the making.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, let me tell them what I think is cool about what they're up to.
Yeah. So I have no idea what I'd be doing if it wasn't for that comment. And I also get a kick out of like when I go to someone's house, and sometimes, I go to like these big fancy houses, and then I was like, wow, my mom, like what a difference one generation makes. Cause there was a time when I would
these houses.
Right. And so now, and I think all my clients have housekeepers. So it's always like, and they speak Spanish. So I get to talk to them in Spanish too.
Are these nice people? Yeah. If they're dicks, tell me. Blink twice and I'll leave right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's great.
But yeah, I just feel like there's been this story. I totally understand why you and Evan are together.
Oh, okay.
Energetically very similar.
Okay.
I know that you say that he's like the big public facing, outgoing one that, is out in the world and made for it. But meeting you and talking to you, I'm like, I could totally see. Is Felix chatty? He can't be chatty. Is he?
He can't. No, not initially. And Felix is so much like me when I was a kid, but I've noticed his level of confidence is a lot greater than me at that age. So it's just having us as parents, I think, has been helpful to grow that confidence. So I was like, it's almost like raising me when I was a kid. Like, these are the things I could have benefited from if my parents were aware of some of these things. So it's nice.
What do you think the biggest changes that you've made generationally?
Just like trying stuff, even with sports. Like, I remember I wanted to play basketball, and my mom said, she didn't have like friends. She was busy tending to us, tending to my dad, the house. And so she said, if you want to play basketball, like just like figure it out and I'll sign you up. I'm like, that's your job. Like, that's not my job, but that's sort of, I'm the product of immigrant parents, because they don't really know. They don't have the resources to and there was no internet too. And I was maybe too shy to ask also. But now, growing up here,
you have
we have all that stuff, and like setting up Felix to go to college and just like, and I want to be like, move away. I've lived here my whole life, which is great. I mean, LA's great. California's great.
Nothing like a valley summer, baby.
Exactly. Give me those 80 degrees.
Sweating my ass.
Give me an 80-degree night in the valley. I'll just sit on my porch, and I love it. I love it.
I love it. So you're really doing the classic thing of taking what served you best about growing up. You're forging your own path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although it sounds like you need to make more beans.
I do. Yes.
Don't throw out everything.
I know. So for a while I was getting canned beans. So I was like, my mom would be so like, I always say I make like bootleg Mexican food because it's not authentic whatsoever. Her recipes sort of, they're laborious.
Okay.
So I'll just make.
Sorry, Mom, if you listen to this.
Yeah.
In advance about the canned beans. I had nothing to do with it. That was all Irene. Okay. This was such a pleasure. So in the show notes, we're going to put your website, which is not a jankety website now.
Oh, yes. I hired a professional. Yay.
We're going to put your Instagram.
Sweet.
We're going to put Evan's episode so they can get the other side. I purposely am not making you go through like how you met, because we already got that story. And Evan told it a lot. And it was also very funny. Evan's telling was very funny. And I just want people to get to see your work, because it really is beautiful, and your mind works in a way that mine does not visually, and I wish it did. So like even me, you were here for 5 minutes and I think you gave me 5 great ideas.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, great. I just love it. Sometimes I just want to go and just give people ideas. So, consulting, I love it because you can get a designer quick and I can just.
Okay, wait. Actually, before we finish, this is the last thing I want to know. And I've like said this, that it's the last thing I want to know like 10 times. But this is the last thing I want to know. So there's consulting, there's styling, there's interior design. Like what's the difference? Okay, so what's the difference between these things?
Oh, so the services that I offer are full service. So that could be either a renovation, it could be a kitchen, bathroom, or just furniture. So I'm designing, I'm procuring, and then installing. So the client is just like sitting back, like you handle all of the work, the designing, the project managing installation, and then consulting is for the client who already has a good eye. They don't mind project managing. They have the time and they're just sort of stuck. They need the extra set of professional eyes. Their friends aren't designers. They want to hire a true designer, but just I have like a 3-hour minimum. So it's like, I'll come to your house. We can just show me everything. And that could be anything from existing furniture, or maybe they're doing their own renovation and they're stuck on, making their material selection, but they already have a good sense of the design. It's just that extra set of eyes. And then styling is
redoing my crazy fucking bookshelves.
I love bookshelves. I love it. It's just like people do have cool stuff. It's just not really being displayed properly, or styling for other designers, like for photo shoots. Sometimes designers don't like that aspect of it because there's a lot of schlepping stuff and a lot of prepping.
Yeah.
And designers are just, they don't enjoy it. But she
loves it.
I love it.
She went right to the bookshelves, guys.
Yeah.
Well, this has been such a treat.
Sweet.
I'm so happy that I got to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Thanks for having me.
Team, I need your help. If you love it here, please like and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Subscribe to the Substack for full access to this episode's show notes and join the discussion. And of course, follow me on Instagram at mutha, mutha.life for a daily look at all things mother. Thanks for listening. Be sure to tune in next week for another Chat in the Closet. This podcast was produced by Mother Life, music by Ronan Landa. See you next time.